Hello, and welcome to another edition of One Bad Veggies Root Beer Review. Where in this review, we get down deep and find the main root of all of our problems. This week it's going to be a re-review for a root beer called Maine Root Beers. Maine spelt like the state. So I'm going to assume that their operations are probably out of the state of Maine. The only information I could find is that they're very proud of the fact that their cane sugar comes from good sourced fair trade sugar cane from Brazil. So it's it's not so much about, they're not touting much about their flavor. They're more touting about the fact that like the stuff that they make is good. It's good product from good places made by good people. So like I said, it's a re-review. I do remember it was a very, very early review from way back when, because it was literally like, I think I found it at a Whole Foods when I was doing my initial search for like random root beers across the area. So anyway, we can just go ahead and get right into the review. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the ingredients. Boom, right there. First off, even though it's a long sentence, it's basically water, sugar, spices. That's it. That might be the the shortest list of ingredients I've ever seen on a root beer. I mean, what else is? It's simple, that's for sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bottle. It's also interesting that most of the time when you have a bottle like this, the ingredients are usually posted somewhere down here, somewhere along the side. Ingredients on here are actually posted up here along the top, which I thought that was kind of interesting. Usually I would go ahead and talk about anything interesting within the ingredients. But like I said, there's 3 ingredients: water, sugar, and spices, which of course, as we know, spices or natural or artificial flavors are usually where any kind of hidden stuff is found. Let's go ahead and get a closer look at the art. I've noticed that the art for most of them, because these guys, they do make other types of soda besides root beer. They make tea as well. But this is all I've ever seen of theirs. I've only ever seen the root beer in stores. So I'd be interested in trying some of their other stuff too, because just because I don't know, I kind of like the branding. And not that means anything to the flavor, but I like other sodas besides root beer. That might come to surprise you. They have I like a good Dr. Pepper, and they actually have one called Professor Root, I think is what it's called, which, there's probably as many fake Dr. Peppers as there are fake root beers. So, or fake root beers or different root beers. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. This is not a root or a Dr. Pepper video though, but it could be. Let's go ahead and open this up and get a little bit of that scent. Maybe there's something to say about the simplicity of the ingredients, adding to the simplicity of the scent that I'm getting. I don't really smell anything out of the ordinary. It smells like root beer. No, none of the spices or anything like that are super apparent. I'm going to guess right now that this is going to be somewhere right in the middle, because just because, like, I'm not, I think that their goal with this is to make a well-made, fair trade, root beer that's good. So they're not trying to push any boundaries or anything. They're just trying to make a root beer that you don't have to feel bad about, if that makes any sense. So we're going to go ahead and get right to the pour and the foam. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and let me adjust the camera just a little bit. There we go. Let's go ahead and see how this goes. Oh, that looks pretty good so far. Very nice. Wow, that is, look at that. Just, I've stopped pouring and it keeps growing. All right, let's go ahead and test this out. Let's see how it tastes. Wow, that's incredible. That's very cool. That is super interesting. That is super interesting. It's not very flavorful. Almost airy. Like, that's the thing. There's not much of a flavor to it. It's almost flavorless. The foam is. I mean, not completely, but it has that feeling. Almost. And honestly, it almost had like the consistency of a whipped cream or something like that. Even though I know that's not what it is. It was still very unique. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and wait a second for this foam to go down and go ahead and give it a taste. If the foam goes down, I'm looking at it right now. Look at this. It's still up there. So, yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the taste test. So yeah, here we go. Look at that. Still fairly full. This might be one of the messiest taste tests I ever have, because I don't know if this foam is going to get all over my face. But, all right, bombs up. Let's see how this goes. To be totally honest with you, I'm not sure where to go with this one. I mean, I know what grade to give it. The taste is surprisingly muted. It's not extremely sweet, but also the flavors that I usually expect aren't super obvious either. You know, it says Maine root, like as in like Maine root. Like it you know, that's what I'm that's I guess what I'm trying to say is it almost has like an earthy flavor to it, which isn't a negative thing, but it's definitely not what I expect from a root beer. And seeing as this whole thing is about reviewing root beers and telling you which root beers I think are the best and which ones I think you know. So yeah. Anyway, let's get to the letter grade, because I'm actually having a hard time with this one. So like I was saying before, this one's a little bit complicated for me because, well, let's start out. I'm just going to go ahead with the letter grade. I'm going to give it a D. And it's weird. I was saying before that it tastes kind of earthy, but like you're looking at the ingredients, you're seeing water, you're seeing sugar, you're seeing spices. It almost tastes kind of watery. Has a weird aftertaste, almost kind of metallic. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just not a favorite. I don't know how else to really put it. And I know I'm not being very descriptive, but like I said, a lot of the flavors that you normally get with the root beer just aren't super apparent here. It's not overly anything, but it's also the things that you normally would taste out of it, whether that be like vanilla or sarsaparilla or licorice or anything like that. Very muted, and it's almost like I said, like the water is the most apparent thing. In fact, that's kind of the aftertaste that I'm getting. It's like the aftertaste that you get after drinking like a bottle of water or something like that. Again, like I said, I gotta go with a D for this one. It's not undrinkable, so that's why I'm not giving it F or anything like that, but I definitely just don't really like this one myself. So, you know, again, different strokes for different folks. Maybe someone else finds this one to be particularly delicious. Maybe they like a nice muted flavor instead of something that's overly sugary. Who knows? But for me personally, not a fan. And that's it for this review. As for the normal stuff that I talk about afterwards, the streaming and everything, I've been working on the Master Grade Unicorn, the regular one, not the Verka, which I found out that there was a Verka, and I was kind of mad at myself for not getting it instead of the regular Master Grade, but that's okay. It's been a lot of fun, actually. I had been warned that it was going to be not as much fun as the real grade, but I actually think I'm having a little bit more fun with this one. It's not as complex as the real grade. Probably doesn't move as well as the Master Grade. Actually, I remember having troubles with the elbows when I was putting together this one. And I actually broke one of the horns. It has 3 horns, right? It has the single horn, it has the open horns, and then it has folding horns that fold open and shut. And I broke the folding ones because they were not easy to fold. But luckily I don't need those ones for displaying it because I can just put on the open horns or the closed horns and it does basically the same exact thing. So that's basically it for this one. You know, I never tell you not to go try something except for an F, which we surprisingly have not had an F yet in these reviews. I've not found anything absolutely undrinkable. I don't think so anyway. I'll have to go back and find that out for sure. I know for sure I've reviewed Fs in the past, but they're few and far between because honestly, it's really hard to mess root beer up completely. So, if you want to go ahead and go out and try this one, maybe get your own opinion or whatever on it, because that's the one thing with the ones that I usually review with a D is that you know, it's subjective. All the Ds could be someone's favorite root beers because I just don't particularly like the flavors that are introduced in those ones. Anyway, I'm letting this outro go for way too long. So I hope you had a good time.